Yeah,
But
welcome
here's what
back,
we have to say.
Indiana Sports Speed Radio, here on this Tuesday, and a very exciting Tuesday for some certain people, especially one named Trent Sisley, as he commits to Indiana to play his collegiate basketball career, and that has to be just a great load to have off of your back, Trent, because so much goes into it.
Yeah, for sure. It was a long process. Obviously, started my freshman year, and you sometimes feel kind of lost. Don't know how you're ever going to make a decision, but then at the end of the day, it all it becomes more clear as you go along. And then obviously, I was able to make my decision Sunday, and then let the coaches know before I left campus, and then obviously now everyone knows. So it's been a fun, 24, 48 hours.
I'm certainly, I bet it has. How long did the decision that you had to come back and forth? When did you know, or how long was it still up in the air, basically?
I think just obviously my relationship with Coach Woodson, Coach Walsh did an amazing job recruiting me. My whole family throughout the whole process. I think I was just pretty comfortable before I got to campus. I thought it was a possibility I could commit before getting, during the visit, which I ended up doing. Just super comfortable with them going into the visit. So, really just that.
And of course, you were on the visit this weekend with a former teammate or AAU teammate of yours, Braylon Mullins, who Indiana's also recruiting. I'm sure you won't do anything to sway him to come to Indiana, of course, right? You just leave him alone completely, right?
Not quite. I'm definitely need him. Definitely need him here with me. So.
How important would that be for you, though, to have someone that you're that comfortable with, because you've played with him for a long, solid year of AAU basketball, and so I know that you guys are really good friends. So that comfortability, how important would that be?
No, it'd be super cool. Obviously, it's really pretty close with him off the court. Played a whole summer and spring together. Hung out with a bunch, a lot of time off the court. And on the court, I think he's the best shooter in the country. Super skilled, super athletic. Just like you said, definitely gonna try and put my word in here and there, and obviously try and get him to Bloomington with me.
I'm sure your parents are very excited just for you, period. No matter where you would have gone, of course, they're excited for you. But to have it done, and you have a brother and a sister that's in school at you, so that makes things a little easier for them, no less, not having to travel anywhere else besides Bloomington to visit their kids right now. But I'm sure they're extraordinarily happy once your decision was made.
Yeah, they were. Everyone in my family, my siblings, my parents, my extended family, grandparents, cousins, aunts, uncles. They're all super pleased with my decision, and super proud.
There was Trent Sisley, who commits to Indiana a few days ago, and joined now by Kyle Neddenriep, the Indy Stars high school beat writer. He's covered all these guys for a number of years. Trent Sisley when he was at Heritage Hills, of course, Jalen Harrelson while he was at Fishers, and still covering Braylon Mullins, who is at Greenfield Central. Kyle, first of all, thank you again, as always, for joining us.
No problem.
Big week for Indiana high school basketball is the triple crown of the talent in this state this year. Mullins, Sisley, and Harrelson. Of course, there's other very, very fine players, don't get me wrong. But these are the three that are making the biggest noise right now. Indiana gets a somewhat surprising commitment to a lot of people of Trent Sisley over Purdue. We'll talk about that. I was thinking that Harrelson was looking good for Indiana, but everything I'm hearing now is not trending. Is trending more towards Micah Shrewsbury and Notre Dame, and which would be a major get for Micah Shrewsbury. And then, of course, Braylon Mullins, his announcement coming forth with a visit to Kentucky having been canceled, and his finalist being UConn, North Carolina, and the Hoosiers.
Yeah, that's you kind of set it out there. I would say that's pretty well put, and great get. I don't know where you wanted to start. I guess great get for IU with Sisley, and that's probably not completely surprising. Although I think like you mentioned at some points, Purdue was definitely I would say a leader, or people may have expected him to commit there. I honestly, at various points, definitely thought that as well, based on pretty good information, from just, how things were going with that recruitment. So pretty good. I think he's going to be a player, and I wrote this. I think he'll be a multi-year player in college. I think he'll be a guy who will benefit as much as we sort of dislike the prep school thing and all that. I think it will help him, go to Montverde, play against those players in practices and kind of, just get better and get himself ready for what it's going to be like in college. I don't think that can hurt him in any way to have. And I just think he works hard. I think he's a guy who's not going to go to Montverde and just kind of hang out and, just be there. He's a guy who I think, because of making that transition from Heritage Hills to what he's going to at Montverde, is really wanting to take advantage of that. And hey, I get to play against these guys every day. So I think that, from a standpoint of how he's going to fit in next year and beyond at IU, I think that's, that's going to be important for his progress and potential and all that. So, but yeah, I mean, obviously a very good get. I know he's, excited and, looking forward to that opportunity. Always been an IU, Southern Indiana, IU probably way back when he was first starting high school. I think we all maybe expected it to end like this, and it did. And, there had been some detours as every recruitment goes, but I think this is ultimately where he landed, is maybe where we all thought it was at the beginning.
Yeah, and like I said, Jalen Harrelson, we'll wait and find out where that goes. But man, what an incredible get that would be for Micah Shrewsbury if he is able to land a top 10 player of Jalen's caliber. That, along with already having Mark Zachary going to be playing for him, that's kind of a freebie. But I knew this is no surprise, but he's putting it together. He's going to have to be contended with as a recruiter in this state going forward.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and I don't, honestly, the Harrelson has been very quiet, from people I've talked to, just been very, very quiet up. And, as we sit here at 10 o'clock on Wednesday, so, I'm not saying he's, I mix for him. Yeah, I'll speak to that. I mean, being in the mix for him down to the wire, I mean, that speaks highly of Notre Dame and what Shrewsbury, kind of where they put themselves in this situation. And, I think that's, it kind of shows how well he's done. Now it's another thing to bring on a 5-star and actually get him to commit. And we'll see in about however many hours what actually happens with that. But yeah, I think, and definitely also with Sisley, I mean, they were in the mix for Trent as well. They were in the mix for Stink Robinson from Lawrence North, who ultimately ends up going to Butler, which is, I think, a fantastic get for Butler as well. And then, Notre Dame is able to get in on Brady Kaler and get his commitments earlier this week. And I talked to Brady about that, and he just, it makes a lot of sense. Shrewsbury's a cathedral guy, and so is Brady. And, Brady really liked the idea of going to another Catholic school, which makes sense. And he's also been up there, like, I think 5 or 6 times. So we all kind of thought it was kind of leading that direction anyway. Wake Forest was definitely recruiting him really, really well and hard, but always kind of felt like it'd be maybe Notre Dame or Northwestern for Brady. And it kind of turned out being that for Notre Dame. So, and I think he's a guy. I mean, he's 6'9", like 7'2" wingspan. Good off
What
ball.
position does Jalen Harrelson actually play? Because I know he could play the 1, the 2, or the 3.
Yeah, I mean, all of those, I would say. I mean, I've seen him play, all those, kind of where you want him to play. He played sophomore year. He played point guard for Fishers, but I know with Lawler he's kind of fit some different roles, and he played off the ball as a freshman at Fishers too. So they kind of put him in that point guard role as a sophomore, and I really liked him there. I mean, I thought he was. That he was still kind of finding his exact role, how to play that role, but he was capable for sure. I thought he's a great passer. I remember a game at Southport. I think they were playing Bloomington North, and he just completely dominated that game. That was a tip-off classic, and it was amazing how. I mean, he played like a top 10 guy, and he often did. And I'll say that. I mean, he often played that way. But I think he's going to be a guy that he can handle the ball, but he can also, do other. There's a reason why he's top 10 or 15 in the country. I mean, I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to see why. So to say he's a point guard or shooting, I don't think it really matters. I mean, I think he can in this positionless world of basketball. I mean, he certainly fits that bill.
Absolutely. Make sure you're giving Kyle Neddenriep a follow at the Indy Star. He's got all of the coverage for high school sports, especially right now. They are deep into football season, and with more games to come. Following games like Brebeuf beating Carmel last week, man. So stay tuned. Appreciate you, my friend.
No problem. Thanks, Jim.
You betcha. Kyle Neddenriep here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio. More coming up as the captain, Rick Bozich, will join us.